Meeting the Amherst Township Trustees called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lynch?
Here.
Uhrig?
Yes.
Kish is present and Abraham is absent. I will start with the meeting minutes from the Amherst Township meeting from September 23rd, 2025. The regular meeting of the Amherst Township Trustees. The meeting was called to order at 7:01 p.m. by Lynch with a pledge to the flag. Roll call, Abraham, Lynch, Uhrig, and Kish were all present. Also in attendance, Case Marsh, G. Lynch, R. Valentin, D. Moore, D. Straley, J. Straley, R. Harbin, and R. Blevins. 9/5/25, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Uhrig, to approve the regular meeting minutes of September 9th, 2025 as read. All ayes. 9/6/25, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham. Move to approve the financial reports and payment of items on the payment listing as presented. All ayes. 9/7/25, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Uhrig. Move to approve that the August 2025 credit card account transaction detail has been reviewed per policy and is accepted as presented, subject to investigation. All ayes. The fiscal officer reported at the last meeting that she had reached out to county courts with the state auditor's office, and she did hear back from her after the meeting concluded, but not since then, regarding finishing our 2022-2023 audit. Welcome and audience concerns. D. Straley, Amherst Township resident on Pile South Amherst, is seeking a variance for a lot split. The lot would be split to accommodate another home on the split area. The resident did everything possible to keep the lot in Amherst Township, but as they moved forward, it was impossible. The city of Amherst would need to provide the utilities and water, and the city will not move forward with that unless the property is annexed. R. Harbin and R. Blevins, 9162 Oberlin Road residents, built a pole barn on their property and needed to sign a promissory note to build a home within a year on their property, or they would have had to have removed the pole barn. They followed the rules, and their neighbors built a pole barn 3 years ago and have yet to build a home on it. This causes significant flooding on their property. They are seeking a formal review of the property at 9164 Oberlin Road to ensure compliance with all ordinances and zoning regulations, particularly regarding the pole barn and the property damage. They are seeking for the rules to be consistent for all residents and for the neighbor to comply. Zoning Inspector Valentin noted that they had to sign the promissory note because they were living in the pole barn prior and during the building of their home. The neighbor was not living in the pole barn, so they did not need a promissory note. Zoning inspector will continue to try to contact the neighboring property owner. Trustee Lynch noted that the drainage problem was a civil issue. D. Moore, a Middle Ridge Road resident, requested an update regarding the Batten House ditch project. Mr. Moore indicated he is still waiting for paperwork from Don Romanchik, and it's been over a month. He spent his own money clearing out stumps and debris and wants to know when something is finally going to be done about it. Grant money was awarded, and he is afraid if it doesn't get done, we will lose that grant money. Trustee Lynch shared correspondence from Don Romanchik that he received just today and noted that unfortunately we are in a holding pattern waiting for easement signatures from surrounding neighbors. Under correspondence, on 10/8/25, Wednesday, local government LC, Lorraine County Sheriff's Office Jail Lunch and Learn at 9896 Murray Ridge Road. Under reports, ambulance, Joint Sandstone Ambulance District meeting date is still not scheduled. Under zoning, Zoning Inspector Valentin deferred to the next meeting. Road, Cemetery, and Parks, Road Superintendent Case Marsh, everything running smooth and nothing to report. Stormwater Advisory Committee did not meet last Thursday. The meeting was canceled. Under complaints, they're being handled by the designated individual. Under new business, the next regularly scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, October 14th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Amherst Township Hall. 9/8/25, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Uhrig, moved to enter into executive session at 8:11 for a lot split and annexation. All ayes. 9/9/25, motion by Lynch, seconded by Uhrig, moved to return from executive session at 8:30 p.m. All ayes. 9/10/25, a motion by Abraham, seconded by Uhrig, moved to adjourn at 8:31 p.m. All ayes.
Are there any changes or corrections to the September 23rd meeting minutes?
None.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Uhrig?
Yes.
Okay, you've got financial reports in front of you. We have the payment listing for the first part of the month We got a newsletter in there, striping for the roads to the engineers in there. We had some horsemen invoices that were the way that they were being sent in was changed yet again, and nobody knew about it. So we've got it all under control. So he's getting paid tonight for June, July, August, and September. I think everything else is just regular boiler.
Chris, would it be then the next meeting where Life Care would get paid?
Yes.
Okay.
Second meeting of the month.
Want to make sure,
Yep.
since that's a monthly.
Yep. And year-to-date revenue, we have, ready? $1,673,785.94. And our expenditures are $926,902.86. Includes the financial reports and
Any
payments.
questions, David?
No, we have nothing right now.
Financials? Okay, I'm going to make a motion to approve the financial reports as presented and payment of the items on the payment listing as specified in the documents provided by the fiscal officer.
Second,
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
yes.
The number on that, Chris?
That is 10/2/25.
Oh, so that's 10 after.
Okay, is there anything else?
No, other than what I know you're going to bring up, so.
Yeah, okay, if you go in your packet, David, there is a prepared resolution there. We're going to cover that under financials. I mean, this is typical on the annual basis, accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor for revised code. Section 5705.34 and .35. I guess, David, the real key item that's changed here, from past years, obviously you're aware that we did receive that ARPA money as a result of the COVID pandemic, and many organizations were required to spend it all by 2026, and technically we spent it at by 2026, but what we've done is conserved the revenues in the general fund and the road and bridge fund, so that if we get either an emergency project or a special project, if the quotes that we hope to get these two grants for round 40 come in good, we can extend additional work, but we've kept that money back versus just spending it, on normal services or on things that we didn't need. And with the COVID money and a portion of the ARPA money, we were able to replace a considerable amount of our equipment that we had coming in. The other key item here, and this is a direct result of the property tax reappraisal. And since the Budget Commission reviewed it, I just thought it was interesting. It came out to the dollar of what the county auditor originally estimated in January of 2020. I think it was 2020, it might have been 2025. You would expect some change with the construction going on, but we actually, between the general fund and the road and bridge fund, that'll be $172,966 in increase, which is a huge amount for us. Basically, that's like a 10%, if you will, of our total revenues coming in. So I just wanted to point that out. Beyond that, the items, the numbers are what the numbers are. They did have, Chris, and I'm sure you're going to adjust that because it would have been just estimates at the time, and the letter from the Budget Commission is here.
Yeah,
and that's
5,000.
Yeah, and you'll see, David, that what Chris first put together in the estimates was for the EMS services, came out with an over expenditure versus the funds coming in, so she can make those adjustments. but we typically do that. We've got the known monthly expense for the provision of the EMS, but there's always that variable expense for when we send out the first responders from the fire department, which is unknown, and Chris is, using the past year's estimate, but we always know it's covered because we also have the fire and EMS levy can pay for both, whereas the ambulance levy can only pay for EMS. And that being the case, she always makes sure she uses that particular one first, and the fire department is real good about itemizing the invoices as to whether it was an EMS run versus strictly a fire run. So that will get adjusted, but I just wanted to point that out. So I am going to make a motion to bring this resolution as prepared to the floor.
I will second.
Okay. And I don't know, David, if you have any other questions beyond that. You had an opportunity to review this earlier. Okay, then roll call, Chris?
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
And that is 10-3-20. And I will get a certified copy. To the
That was
auditor.
10-3, right?
10-3-25. The only other thing I had that I've still not heard back from Kiney, from the state auditor's office, but I did learn while I was at the Ohio Association of Public Treasurers Conference last week that several local townships are experiencing the same incomplete audits with Kiney. So I don't know what's up.
But he actually came in after somebody else as a follow-up to their work, didn't he?
Well, Michael who was originally our auditor. Michael left, and there was supposed to be somebody else, and then Kiney said she's probably going to be the one finishing it. So I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah.
But I'll continue to reach out to her. And I also learned at the OAPT that our credit cards that we have are archaic. And I'm going to be meeting with Maureen, our business banker, to learn. They have a new business account set up that could potentially give back some type of rebate for using the credit card monthly. So I could go into paying a lot of our bills that way and then just deducting it
I was
that way.
hoping that, I just figured Huntington didn't offer that because when we set up that policy, we specifically talk about those credits and getting a report on an annual basis, which you would give, but that people understand those are the township's credit and they will show up on the
Right.
township's account.
Right. So it could be like a rebate that would help offset our monthly banking fees. And
Right.
so I'll be meeting with Maureen and I'll share more as that
Okay.
goes on.
Great. Anything else then,
That
Chris?
is it.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to welcome everyone in attendance. If you have anything to bring before the trustees, please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, you're welcome to stay. I know you guys came here for a specific reason, but you don't feel obligated like you have to. Okay. All right, we'll move on to correspondence. Chris?
I've done.
All right, David?
I have nothing to bring forward at this time.
Okay, I have in your packet, I was told this was going to be mailed to the township, but don't know that it ever made it here yet. It's actually dated 10/3, but I think it came in on last Friday. This is the Subdivision Review Subcommittee memorandum, and though there's 5 different items, only the last 3 apply to Amherst Township. The other 2 are Columbia Township. But there will be, within the sandstone development, if you look at item 3 is the final plat for the Sandstone Mill subdivision, phase 2. Those are the single-family homes towards the back that are any age. There's an additional 40 lots that they'll be putting in on Sand Mill Run. And then there is the Sandstone 1 final plat at Four Seasons for 28 lots. That's actually, though it doesn't state it here, that is phase 2. That is in the 55 and older section. And then they've got a phase 3, which is also in the Four Seasons 55 and over section. I can't explain why they've got two separate phases there versus doing it all at once if they get the roadway in place, but that will be before the subdivision review subcommittee on Tuesday, October 21st at 2 o'clock in the Commissioners' Meeting Room A on the 4th floor. There's a copy of that in your packet there, David. There's also, and David was in attendance also, is we had the township employees attended the webinar here at the township on the compliance for the cybersecurity as required in House Bill 96. That was the budget bill that was just recently passed at the state, and buried in there is the improvement in cybersecurity requirements for all communities. And at this point, we'll be going through our policies to see what changes we might have to make. But for the townships, the deadline of having that completed is July 1st of 2026. So we have a little bit of time, but not a whole lot of time, because that's going to require some wordsmithing and additional training. But fortunately, the employees did all attend that particular training. I was surprised, though, that there were some items in the training that was provided by the Ohio Auditor's Department, is that they never discuss contacting your local law enforcement, they never discuss contacting the FBI, and they never discuss contacting the Federal Trade Commission. What was made clear is with the ransomware projects that are on, they've actually codified it that political subdivisions will not pay ransomware. So we'll see where this goes. We've been fortunate that we have not been hacked, but we also deliberately maintain a minimum amount of personal private information for residents and employees. But it's just something we are going to have to do some updates to our policy. We actually do have our cybersecurity policy in place. And I know in Lorain County, we were one of the first townships to do that. Okay, we'll move on then to reports. I still don't have from the president of the Sandstone Joint Ambulance District Board a meeting date, but we are scheduled to be in November. It's just that he's still working, the president still works his full-time position in the City of Bay Village Fire Department, and so his shifts do change. So it's usually on a short notice. He'll send out an email blast to all the board members and give a range of dates to select when people are available. So I'm sure we're going to be hearing from him soon. Move on. Ryan's not here for zoning. David, if you look under there's, to my knowledge, nothing coming up for the zoning commission, but you can always be surprised because at the last zoning commission meeting, there was a informal presentation by the Circle K group that is purchasing the property within Sandstone there along 58. And though you will see them visible from State Route 58, people will actually have to come in Sandstone Parkway to gain access. They did indicate that they are in regular conversation with McDonald's because they're aware that the two properties are going to be interconnected there for the vehicle circulation. You've also got so I imagine we may be seeing them at the next zoning commission meeting. For the Board of Zoning Appeals, they have a meeting at 6 o'clock on Wednesday, October 22nd. This is in review of compliance by Q Landscape on a conditional use that they currently hold. And then on Wednesday, October 29th, there will be an area variance regarding a lot split. I was hoping Ryan would be here so I could ask him if they've run that lot split through the county planning department, since it does appear that one of the lots is going to be what are referred to as flag lots, and I know that the county tends to frown on those flag lots, but it's not that they don't approve them, it's not something that they encourage. Fire prevention, we'll be discussing that in executive session later today. Roads, parks, and cemetery, Superintendent Marsh.
All regular operations, running smooth. We had dumpster day on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We were shorted a dumpster and a half, which meant we stockpiled garbage in the salt shed, and I got in touch with Joe on Sunday, and he had a dumpster flip-flopped first thing Monday morning, and, you know, they come through with that part of it, but they, you know, messed us up. They just have to rehandle, you know.
Right.
So, well, we got through that. I've talked with Chris Verrue. He had the Rustic Hill concrete replacement project. He had it oopsed. He says he's going to get in there this week to start that. Says it'll take him about a week to complete. That's all I have.
Okay. You hear anything from Gledhill on the plow
Yeah,
truck?
okay, yeah, I did, and I talked to Dave. They are working on it. But he says right now, to give him a week and a half, and it'll be closer to seeing a better date to give.
So we will have it for this winter season.
I can't answer that.
Okay.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yep, go ahead, I'm getting a note down.
Did we ever figure out what's happening as far as a lease, or, because he was like, we had to go find our own lease?
We've not heard
or-
any more information from them since the gentleman was here in June.
Yeah, well, I think showed him what the agreement is, and it's pretty clear.
Right.
You know, I think he had a misunderstanding, so,
Okay.
yeah, we're holding to the contract, Chris.
I'm glad, but I just was wondering.
Yeah, no, there'll be no payment till we receive the vehicle, and that's the agreement. I know he thought he might get something else worked out, but we made it clear to him before that could even happen. We'd have to be discussing that with our legal counsel. David, you have any questions for Kevin?
No, I think those were the two items. He answered them. Rustic Hill in the truck, so.
Okay. Senior Services, Township Administrator Linda Ashley.
Again, I feel like I repeat myself every month. Medicare open enrollment starts on the 15th, runs till December 7th. There's been quite a few changes on the prescription plan coverages, so we strongly encourage that if you are Medicare, have a standalone prescription plan, you compare it from this year into what you could get next year. I know my husband's alone went up $50 for the exact same plan for next year, so we're researching a new plan. Give the office a call. We can set up an appointment, go over it with them. We're doing just OPWC, those two that we put in for round 40. I've been working on those for a couple days, trying to get it into the OPWC WorkWise portal. So that should be done hopefully tomorrow. I'm working on the first one. There's been some technical issues. And then I'm going to let Morgan do the second one with
That'd
me
be
watching
good for
over her so
training.
that she can start getting this.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, Linda, before you move on, did
Yep.
Bob Fiber or Shonda Falla from the County Engineer's Office confirm? Because Bob told us at the last Lorraine County Township Association, don't enter anything till he tells us to enter it. And he said it'd be in October, but then OPWC sent that email direct, which they didn't include.
Well, the email was from
Yvonne.
Yvonne,
Yeah,
from
it was
the
from Yvonne at
engineers.
the engineer's office.
Okay.
So we're going with that. Plus you know how we get the schedule? It says right on the schedule that I think it was October 8th. Was
Right.
the date that they were going to decide, and that's when the email went right out after that. But yeah, that did come directly from the engineer's office. Kevin and I weren't on the list. I don't know why, but Chris forwarded it to me, and then you did too, so
Okay.
that was helpful. So like I said, that'll be in there. We have new computers and a new Xerox machine, and that's been very challenging for the last couple weeks for us. We did have to have the guy come out and train us on it, and figured out that there was some issues with the way that they had programmed it. So he reprogrammed a lot of the stuff for us and told us to call in a service tech. We did. He came out and he looked at it and checked it all over to make sure it was all okay, because it was jamming and errors every time we tried to use it. So, but I think we're okay now. Like I said, with the new computers, and we're trying this OneDrive so that we can share files, and it's just been challenging, taking a lot of time. A lot of time.
Sometimes equipment gets overcomplicated once you
Yeah.
have software involved, right?
Right. That's about it, just normal day to day.
You have any questions for Linda, David?
No, that I don't.
Okay. Right, Lorco in Phase 2 is at the next meeting. Right, Ryan's not here for the complaint that's open here. Got the one still open, waiting on ODOT. Yep. All right, we'll move on then to unfinished business. David, any of the items you have specific responsibility for, you need to report
I don't
on?
have anything to report at this time on anything right now.
Okay, well, I will.
Rather quiet, I'm happy about that, but,
Well, just a couple of items. Remember that the Solid Waste Consortium will be meeting tomorrow. So over at the, I mean, you know where it's at
the
the,
collection centers.
right. And also, so you're aware, you did turn in an estimate, which looks pretty good for yard waste. Don't mention that price since this is informal. It is below the threshold that the township, we set our own threshold, which is lower than the ORC for competitive bidding, just because, you know, we experience if we can get lower pricing by getting several quotes, we just don't go through publishing in the newspaper and all the other extra costs that are there. And we only do it when we know that the administrative cost or time, whether it's Linda, Kevin, or the trustees, doesn't exceed the time of any savings you can get. So you've got one in.
I think in his interest, he would like to do it, or have it done.
Yeah, don't mention who it is.
In December.
Okay.
The reason being, he would like access to the yard waste to mix with his food waste,
Okay.
which he needs. I believe that if billing was a problem because of the budget for the year, he would take payment in January, but I think he's more interested in getting the product this
Chris has
year.
already given you a thumbs up, David.
Like that.
Yeah, well, and that'll work too, because we'll have all the leaves in. The only thing we won't have, but we're getting fewer and fewer of the live, old Christmas trees. There's fewer and fewer of those that get picked up.
Well, it is cyclical, you get it done as soon as you get it hauled out, somebody will bring a load of limbs down, so it's kind of cyclical. You have your busier times and your slower times. Winter's usually a little slower, but, to say that, the day after you got everything hauled out, it's going to be clean the next day, somebody will probably come in with a load of limbs. It's like Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's cyclical.
Well, just so you're aware, there'll be comparable quotes. We don't know which way it'll go, but that number looked pretty good. It's just a matter of getting some comparisons. So, and there'll be the estimate as far as the volume there, knowing that the leaves are still to come. We get plenty of leaves. And I will be going to the NOPEC general session, and I don't have the date down here, but they did send the information out. I had presented that at the previous meeting. I did send in the proxy just in the event we didn't make it. I know one time I made it, and many people did not, because as soon as we headed out there, and they had it on the east side, we had a huge snowstorm. Don't want to see that again. Okay, I've got the only other items I have here. Is there any other business, David?
No, not at this time. I don't think.
Okay. Our next regular meeting will be on Tuesday, October 28th at 7 o'clock. Kevin, is there any need for a meeting before that?
No.
Okay, and for the audience, you guys have any questions? Go ahead. Oh,
And I don't know if this comes through.
you'll need the microphone.
Stand up at the podium.
I'm just curious on the cleanliness of the township. When we look at the bridges over here that got vandalized coming up towards the turnpike, if you're going down 58 going south, there's a bunch of graffiti on the concrete pillars by the turnpike. There's some graffiti on signs going down 58. It's been there for quite a while. I did contact the township and ask them, is there anything that can be done to clean it up? And this has been months ago.
On 58, by the turnpike?
Yeah.
I talked to the state about it.
Okay.
So I guess the question being, where are we at follow-up? I don't enjoy driving down the road seeing graffiti all over there, and it's on multiple signs through Amherst. It was probably the same person that decided one night to have
I
fun.
drove back and forth there today and didn't notice.
Yeah, it's all on the pillars on the bridge going over top of the
I'll definitely be
turnpike.
looking the next time.
And
but-
it's both directions. I could see it going south because that's the direction I head most of the time, but it's also coming north. It's just more noticeable on the south side.
What response did you get?
They would look into it. But that was, like I said, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
Did I speak with you?
Probably, yeah. So I guess if we can you follow up with that? Because,
Yeah.
I mean, we've got that, obviously that massive development right there. I think, is that sandstone?
Yeah.
Is that what I heard you talk? I mean, you can imagine you're building these houses and right there's all this graffiti. It looks pretty horrible.
Yeah, they're probably, I'm sure, I will follow up. I'm sure they're aware of it. It's
Mm-hmm.
just one of the things that there's probably got so much more that, other than bad sight, which is bad. but
It's
they probably
pretty
just
bad.
got so much more,
Mhm.
obviously, within a short time. But I definitely will follow up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they'll.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that because, like I said, it looks pretty bad. So next time you're driving through, take a look.
Oh, I'm definitely going to look.
There is even a speed limit sign. And this is Amherst, it's not the township, but there's even a speed limit sign coming down. I think it's Cooper Foster. Caleb, correct me if I'm wrong, but they took the 3 and made it into an 8. So it looks like the speed limit's 85.
Yeah, Does the city probably has similar to us on the website to enter that in, and then it gets recorded? Because when it comes in here, Chris always sends out the complaint to us, and we get, that tends to get attention quicker, and you got a document. I'm not sure if the city has it or not. I know Lorraine does.
Yeah, I'll look into
Larry
that
does,
one.
but
Yeah.
if you look at Amherst website, see if it's on there.
Okay. Yeah, that one was a little on the safety. I mean, hopefully people would know not to go 85 down Cooper Foster, but
Yeah, that's,
you never know.
I'm going to be speaking with Ron. I'm going to be speaking with Ron tomorrow. I'll mention it.
Okay.
That's
It's
Ron
it's either
Murphy.
on, I think it's on Cooper Foster, it might be on Jaeger. It's one of those two roads going
Jaeger
from
would be
North
Lorraine.
Main. Yeah, it's one of those two roads. My other thing is going towards, okay, so we live on Middle Ridge. If I'm going down Middle Ridge towards Route 2, there's the bridge there on Route 2 for your entrance and exits onto Route 2. That bridge is a disaster. There is debris everywhere. There has been a garbage bag filled with, I believe it's clothing, that's been sitting on that bridge now since early summer. And I'm just curious, who manages the cleanup of this bridge? Because again, it looks like a trash zone, literally.
State.
Okay, so can you contact the state? I mean, it seems so silly that, we're in the township, but we have to,
it'll be the same ones that are supposed to clean this ditch that was going to be early summer.
yeah.
Right.
So I guess I'm just asking for follow-up then on that, because again, it just looks like we're living in a trash.
They could
trash zone.
probably, if it's resources, hire the guys that are standing there with the cardboard signs.
Yeah, for real.
Well, yeah. I don't know why
Sorry,
they-
but those guys are there all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
That's why I was curious why they didn't take the bag, because the one day when it was all over the road, it was clothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you could follow up on those, I'd appreciate that. And then the second thing with all of
You
the...
got that marked down, Kevin?
Okay, I guess it would be the third thing then. With all of the housing that's being developed here in the township, I'm assuming you've talked to the Amherst School District about the
Yes,
space?
absolutely. We had, every development we've had contact with the school district on it. Sometimes I don't know how that gets transferred necessarily to the school board itself, because I know they mentioned some of the developments here in the township expecting there's going to be this huge influx of students, and that's not the case. The Sandstone development, there will be, I believe it's approximately 670 housing units, but it'll only amount to 85 new students from kindergarten through 12th grade. And most of those are going to come from the single-family area where there's no age restriction. The 55 and over community, there will be no one there under that age. And then with the Redwood, which is a rental townhomes, is we did it based on the other developments that Redwood already has and what they have in terms of number of students. With them typically being 2-bedroom units, it's not something where you have the young families. They've also got, with rents exceeding $2,000 a month, that's not going to be the case where you get a lot of young families in it. So with that, all that information was presented to the schools ahead of time. And most of those developments are in Amherst. Keep in mind the township, we have 4 different school districts. When you see development in the township, it depends which school are you in. Are you in Firelands, in Amherst, in Oberlin, or in Elyria? So it's, it kind of splits them off. So but we'll talk with every school district depending upon where the development is.
Yeah, that's good. We are in the school district, and it's pretty packed. That's what, so I was just kind of
It
concerned
is.
on that.
Yeah, the schools actually, if you think about it over the years, so they might be getting crowded now, they actually downsized the number of buildings because the original growth projections they had in the past, which were based on historical growth, didn't happen. So though we've had more housing units within the district, in this case you're talking the Amherst School District, is they haven't seen the proportional increase in students because the family sizes themselves are smaller, considerably smaller. It's not like back in the 70s where they were holding classes in the hallways. So and those were probably some of the peak years that they had. I know that they originally purchased a property in the township off Dewey Road expecting a new school, and that's obviously all changed, and now it's a bus garage.
Also a very inconvenient location.
Yeah, but we look at that. We look at all the financials to make sure that when a development's coming in, it's not going to be a cost burden on the existing residents. We want to make absolutely certain that development pays for itself and preferably actually pays more. We've also, up to this point, have been pushing that the developments provide more stormwater detention, both in terms of capacity and slowing the release rate, than they're required to by law, but more to make up for the past sins when there was no regulation on the stormwater management. And then when you go to individual property owners, there's really no regulations on them. I really don't want to see that happen, but people can build a home on a single 1-acre lot. They can put up patios, accessory buildings, and they don't have to meet any of the requirements that a developer has to meet in terms of stormwater management. That's why we ask for extra to compensate for the past historical development and also what individual property owners put up.
This just brought up another thought inside my head, and I'm coming
Okay.
back to you, I'm sorry. On Middle Ridge, I'm assuming that's the township manages Middle Ridge?
Township and county.
Okay.
Depends where you're at.
Depends
So
where
if you're coming down 58 and you're coming north on 58, you turn right onto Middle Ridge. Before you get to Dewey, there's like a big brick house. It's got like 6-car garage attached to.
Yes.
Okay. Right in that general area, they just dug a hole in the ground
Yes.
and they patched up really poorly. And so as your car, and of course they just repaved Middle Ridge, last summer, and they really did a very poor job of patching it up. And so your car bounces when you're going down, so I don't know if that's fixable. I don't know why they just dug a big hole in the middle of the ground, but,
Water, that was the water department. They made a tap there.
okay. So it just was poorly repaved, and of course, cars are bouncing on a brand-new road that, so, sorry to bring everything up to your
No,
attention, but
that's
these are
cool.
the things that as a resident, we're looking at.
Oh, that's fine, and you've got that down, Kevin, but you can call the county engineer on that directly, too.
Okay.
But that is definitely the county's responsibility at that portion of Middle Ridge. I know Middle Ridge can be very confusing.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I think that bridge on Middle Ridge, you're talking about debris, I think that would be the county's.
Yeah, it
State
is.
bridge, but the maintenance of the road and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, that's county all the way to,
Bring that up with them too.
Okay, anything else? All right, we do have, I'm going to call for an executive session per Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G3. This in regards to the Strail property annexation. That'd be over to the, I believe that's a Coventry development. They're on Pyle and Coventry there. And then also the annexation that's going on from the township to the city of Elyria, on the status of that, and then recent open burning issue we had that's going to be a significant amount of cost, and I don't know if Linda's been able to get the final number yet from the, she's nodding yes, from the fire department on this, because it naturally it occurred on a Sunday, no less, so you're paying the double time on there. Fortunately, the mutual aid won't cost us, but it was a significant fire and a significant amount of time and resources expended on that open burning, which obviously is not allowed. So that'll be my motion.
Second,
Lynch?
Yes.
Uri?
yes.
I'm going to make a motion to return to the regular meeting from executive session at 8:15 p.m.
Second,
Lynch?
Yes.
Uri?
yes.
Okay, is there any other business? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second,
Lynch?
Yes.
Uri?
yes.